Hello and welcome back to the Saints Squad Show. I'm your host, Dylan Sanders of Saints Wire and Pelicans Roundtable, and today I am auditioning for my job as the next GM of whichever NFL team wants to make the mistake of hiring
me. I'm Ross Jackson, host of Locked On Saints podcast. Now, I think the New Orleans Saints should spin big on the offensive line this offseason.
I'm Darian Gray of Who Dat Dish, and I stand with the Pelican social media team.
It's the Saints Squad. Everything New Orleans Saints, every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from down in the Big Easy, the way only Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Saints Squad Show, starting now.
Hello and welcome back to the Saints Squad Show, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Let me get out y'all's faces a little quick. Thanks for making this your first listen. We're trying to do Monday and Thursday of this off-season schedule twice a week. We have a unique group of experts here ready to bring you a fun and informative show on everything New Orleans Saints. Today, we are having what I am on one of my most anticipated episodes in a long time. That we are completing a mock offseason for this. So we're going to start with who do we bring back. We're going to go then to picking 3 free agents at different price levels. We're going to go a low-end free agent, a mid-level free agent, and a high-end free agent. And then we're going to do a 4-round NFL mock draft based off of what we do in those first 2 rounds. And then we'll see what does the offseason look like, because free agency is about to start. Ross, what time does it start?
It's technically, is it 4 p.m. on, I think it's like 4 p.m. on the 11th, or maybe noon on the 11th. It's on the 11th. It's on Wednesday. But all the legal tampering stuff begins on Monday. Mm-hmm. So you'll already be hearing about like, oh, this player agreed to terms, blah, 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 blah. And then official signings will be on Wednesday.
Well, see, that's why I asked you. I knew you would know the difference, and I did not off the top of my head. So. All right, so let's get into this episode by starting off with who the Saints must bring back. And I think we have to start where the Saints started today. Seems like not ruling out a return, but Cam Jordan is going to be hitting free agency for the first time in his career. Ross, where do you stand on that? Do the Saints need to make it a priority to bring him back? Do we bring him back today? How do you feel?
Yeah, look, I think bringing back Cam Jordan still makes a ton of sense. And it makes even more sense now. You're already eating a bunch of money here with the dead cap hit. Now you have the ability to potentially let him go out there and test his market. If that market is not something that prices you out of like via a price point that he's going to get somewhere else, then I think that it makes sense to bring him back. I've maintained that bringing back Cam Jordan would be the smart move by New Orleans. You typically don't lose double-digit sack guys when you go into free agency. You typically don't want to do that regardless of their age. So I'm going to stand firm on that. I think that the Saints should still be looking to bring him back as long as the price point ends up making sense and it's not a situation in which, the Arizona Cardinals offer him some insane amount of money that the Saints aren't going to be willing to match.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that Cam, everyone wants to look for edge rushers in the draft and other guys that will lift your ceiling. But I think Cam does a great job at lifting your floor because Chase is your star. Obviously, that is your lead pass rusher. But then you look at the rest of that rotation, and I don't have the most confidence in a guy in Carl Granderson. I think that Rumpf is good in his role, but if Cam is gone, then Rumpf's role could be bumped up. Yeah. I think Cam
Rumpf is also a free agent.
Oh, and also a free agent, right? I'm just making assumptions that you bring him back. But you're looking at Jordan. I look at him as a guy who can give you maybe 8 sacks next year. It doesn't have to be 10 again, but he just raises the floor and makes you feel like you have 2 pass rushers that you can count on. And I think that's going to be the thing that's important. You want to have as much you can count on those type of players as you do going into going into the draft. And I think Cam provides you with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So do we, and I'll say this now, get it out of the way. We're not going super deep and super intense on the money. Like, we're not coming up with fake contracts to sign. We're just going to go with the assumption of if we say they sign them, they can sign them, they can afford them. And for the free agents, we're going to be doing the essentially just calling it a big money contract, middle money contract, low money contract, just so we could avoid not get bogged down in trying to come up with fake contracts that you don't really know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah,
and we don't know exactly what the Saints are going to do to lower their cap. We're just going to go basically what we expect them to be able to do this offseason.
Yeah, so, I think when it comes to Cam, I think we should plan for him to be back. And this is my argument for why it would happen. To Dylan's point, if you're going to bring him back, it's because the money is manageable, and it's because you figured that out and you've kind of found that price point. So that's point A. We can eschew that. The other thing is, it doesn't impact the need at edge rusher. I think the Saints, in fact, I know the Saints are interested in addressing that edge rusher position, regardless of whether or not Cam Jordan is back. So I think from that perspective, because it doesn't have a super big impact on the rest of what we're going to do today, entertaining the interest of bringing him back is worth it.
Let me ask you something, Ross, because I agree with that fully. How do you view the room if he walks, right? Because if he stays, I still want to go do something, but I might be a little bit more proactive in my search if he leaves, right? I may be a little bit more aggressive in when I try to address the position. What are you thinking right now?
I probably just, all that it really does is mitigate some veteran minimum deal that I'd sign otherwise, or some day 3 pick that I'd add. I would still consider going first round at edge rusher, whether he's there or not. I would still consider signing, a good edge rusher in free agency, whether he's there or not. So it's really just the difference between doing both of those things, plus maybe some other veteran minimum or day 3 deal, or just doing one of those things. That's really the only difference for me.
Yeah. All right. So let's count Cam Jordan as a return. Demario Davis, do we bring him back? I say yes.
You say yes? Darian,
if I can. I feel I feel a little less confident that he's coming back than I do Cam.
Yeah.
But
I feel way less confident for him. Yeah. I feel way less confident. But I'm okay operating under the assumption that he's back. Because again,
no, what do you think is more likely?
I think it's more likely that he ends up departing.
Okay.
But that's not like a sourced thing. I'm just trying to like feel things out. Like it might be there's a world in which like Cam and Demario don't really impact one another, right? It's just all about like you could potentially bring both of them back, or you can bring one or the other back. But Demario has been the one that maybe seems a little bit more like the anticipation is different from him when it comes to the idea of testing the market and chasing, getting an opportunity to maybe go after a ring and be with the contender and all those other things. Like I could see Demario being the guy that gets that opportunity because of his position, because the position and age aren't as much a factor. Whereas like edge rusher, teams are going to downgrade Cam Jordan in a way that they might not downgrade Demario. So I think Demario's market will be stronger. All right.
Yeah. So Demario's leaving. Let's say that for our project. That stinks.
That's tough. That's tough.
Demario's leaving. We are going to have to figure something out at linebacker.
Yep.
And that's I know where my mind is going immediately, but we can talk about that when we get to it and later on. And then the last big name, in my opinion, is Alontae Taylor, and I say go. I'm gonna wash my hands.
I think he's gone. Yeah. I think he's gone. Not because I don't think that he's like good enough to stick around. It's because I think he's too good to stick around. I think he's going to get an outside corner spot. Tennessee, Las Vegas, Dallas, Kansas City all of a sudden has a need. Like I could see him heading in a bunch of different directions and getting paid handsomely in the process.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I think that as we walk down this list from Cam to Alontae, I feel like we've gotten less and less likely candidates to stay, right? I think that Cam, I still feel confident Cam stays. Even though he's going to test the market, all of those things, I still feel there's a way that Cam comes back. Part of me hopes Demario comes back. I'm a little less confident. And then with Alontae, I'm actually pretty confident that he walks. I just don't think, and I don't think the Saints should compete with the market he's going to have. I don't think that would be the best use of finances either. So I think that Alontae leaves.
Yeah. Alontae's another Caden Ellis. The role's not there. So the money's not there.
Let's do some quicker fire, low money, yes or no's for bringing it back. Luke Fortner. Yes.
No.
I don't know.
You don't.
He's not.
You don't think he wants.
He's going to be. I think he's going to be a starter somewhere.
Oh yes, because we're operating with what we think happens.
Right.
Sometimes I'm thinking fantasy.
Yeah. Would I like for him to be a New Orleans Saint? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes.
You just don't think it's going to happen?
But I don't think. I think he's going to get starter money somewhere. Like Drew Dahlman in Chicago just retired.
Mm-hmm.
Luke Fortner to Chicago makes so much sense. You know what I mean? Like those types of situations. Like I think he's going to get paid, and the Saints are probably worried about that too.
Yeah, and
Foster,
and I'm going him. So yeah, walk.
Foster Moreau
back, and I would bring him back, which is apparently an unpopular opinion, which is insane to me, but I would bring him back. Darian,
I think it's probably not going to cost that much, and you need depth in the room, so I think it works in that realm.
Alrighty, so let's bring back Foster Moreau. Terrell Burgess. I think camp invite and doesn't end up on the final roster.
I'm going back, and I think he does end up on the final roster.
Okay.
I'm trying to do math.
Because we're probably talking.
I'm with Dylan. We're both saying they come back though, but like I'm kind of with Dylan. I think he comes back, but I don't know that he makes the 53.
Yeah. Well, fair. I think we gotta figure out what happens with the rest of our offseason, and then we'll figure out if there's a room for Terrell Burgess. Yeah.
Okay. Dylan Radins. I would bring back.
I would bring back in a backup role.
Yeah, I could see him back.
I think I'm reading the room on the offensive line room, and like with Will Clapp becoming an assistant, it feels like they don't hate the group that they have, and it seems like they all seem to vibe, and seems like it's something where a depth piece gets brought back.
Yeah,
in my head. Speed up, Landon Young.
I'd like to see him back. He's an I'd like to, but I don't know. You think so?
I feel like he is someone that could get a different opportunity. I look for something where he's like one of those players that's like not good enough to be an everyday starter or not reliable enough to be an everyday starter, but probably could get a little bit more money and a little bit more opportunity elsewhere.
Yeah. He's so smart, man. He's so smart. And he's like so good to have in your room.
So do you want to make him a priority to bring back?
I like the idea of the challenge of him leaving. Let's operate. Okay. I'm down with the challenge. I don't want to make everything too simple for us here.
Taysom Hill, no.
I think he retires.
Yeah.
I don't think he plays anywhere.
Jonathan Bullard.
Yes.
Darian. I would say no, but I think I would say no in terms of bringing it back. I'd like to get someone else in that role. Maybe not today in our thing, but I feel like you could.
I think you could. I'm really interested in how much they value Vernon Broughton coming back, but
yeah, they value it. I can tell you that.
So
it's a good point. Good point. Let him walk.
But it's once again, it's depth in a room that I feel like I wasn't overly enthused with the room, but it doesn't feel it doesn't feel like a move that keeps me from doing anything else. I'm okay.
I know the other guy at that position, and my thought is that they would bring Bullard back before the other guy that I assume is probably on this list.
John Ridgeway?
Yeah. And
all right, well, let's bring John Bullard back. Let John Ridgeway walk.
Yeah,
I like that.
Ridgeway spent most of his time on the practice squad. Bullard has been on the active roster. He had a really strong end to the season. He was great against the run, like all those things.
Chris Rumpf.
I'm bringing
him back. Cam back.
No, we did.
We did bring Cam back.
I'm going to bring.
He seems like someone to me that I think with the Brandon Staley connection.
Yeah, he's got the Staley
solid,
vibes.
serviceable role. I'd say bring him back.
And
that's a minimum.
Yeah. No guarantees on that at all or anything. Like
complete minimum. That's another similar to the Terrell Burgess, where I don't see any downside in bringing him back.
Yep.
And then lastly, the last one we'll do is Ugo Amadi.
Maybe it's a pick between him and Burgess, but I could see both of them back for camp because Ugo and his special teams acumen, personal protector, being somebody that can also field punts, being somebody that can backup, both safety and slot. I could see them having both him and Burgess back, at least for Cam.
Yeah, I like Amadi. I like Amadi, special team slot. I might even go Amadi over Burgess to a certain degree, to be honest. It's close, but if we just had to pick one, I think I'd do that. So I'm going to say yes to Amadi.
Cool.
So yes to Amadi, or do I put Terrell Burgess / Ugo Amadi?
Yeah, that sounds fun.
I think one of the two. All right, and then that's it for who we bring back. The Saints are bringing back Cam Jordan, Foster Moreau, Terrell Burgess, or Ugo Amadi, Dylan Radins, John Bullard, and Chris Rumpf.
I dig it. Jonah Williams too. I'll throw in there.
Oh, Jonah Williams. You want him? You want him back?
Yeah, they don't have any 3-4 defensive ends, so they need one.
Yeah,
they need one outside of Brian Brzee.
All righty. Well, let's get ready to go shopping on some free agents coming up next. And Ross, I know you're excited about what's about to happen.
I'm always excited about what's about to happen.
Oh, well, they got to see you for a second. There's this and then this. And then welcome to the 5-hour energy flavor draft. With 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like confetti craze, fruity rainbow, or cotton candy. There's something for everybody. The board is set, the flavors are ready, and I've got my number one pick for the 5-hour energy flavor draft ready. And y'all are not ready for this. I'm gonna go with strawberry banana, a tropical delight with strawberry, a taste that goes in everything from smoothies to milkshakes. It's awesome. Smoothie, creamy, soft, mellow banana finish. It has a banana finish. They call me the sommelier of 5-hour. This is not talking points they have written down in front of me. It is my real taste and opinion on strawberry banana 5-hour energy. It's reminiscent of a fruit smoothie. They're very low acidity, easy to drink, and has a gentle sweet aftertaste. But maybe that's not your thing. Maybe you want to go a little crazy. They got confetti craze for all y'all crazy people out there. Oh man. 5-hour energy shots give you a boost with 0 sugar. They have a bunch of more flavors coming down the pipeline. Y'all are going to want to get on it. So you can find your new favorite flavor of 5-hour energy shots available online at 5hourenergy. That's the number 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. Hello.
Welcome back.
What's up? Thank you. I did a... sorry, I blacked out for a little bit there. Let's go to our 2026 free agents. Do y'all want to go big buck hunting? Do you want to go small buck hunting? What do you want to do?
No one wants to go small buck hunting.
You want to go?
Let's go big. Let's go big.
Mid.
We gotta go big. We gotta go big. Mid buck hunting.
Don't bury the lead.
All right. So we have some big needs to fill. We have we did bring Cam Jordan back, but we're not ruling out still going big after a pass rusher.
Yep.
We have Demario Davis left, so there's an opening in linebacker because I do like what they have in like Danny Stutzman and Pete Werner and all that, but I think they could use another body in that room. And then, obviously anywhere on the offensive interior of the offensive line, I think you could spend money. And any other wide receiver, maybe anything else that's running back. Maybe we go running back and don't push it with the draft. But the closer we get, I'll let y'all know this, my mindset going into the free agency. The closer we get to the draft, the better I feel about just waiting for the draft and getting a running back, because I think there are different interesting options at the different levels of the draft. So it's not just, maybe Jeremiah Love is gone and that's fine, because then you have like a Mike Washington in round 2.
Yeah.
It's where my head's at. It's where my head's at. If you take the risk, I'm fine taking the risk. I am also someone who's very much anti-paying running backs a lot of money, unless they're like a proven star, just because they're so volatile at the position. You never really know.
Sure.
I like taking a swing on maybe a low-level running back, but we'll get into that. Let's go big buck hunting. What position group do you want to start the conversation at?
I mean, we got to start offensive line, right?
There we go.
Like we should start offensive line. Like that's where you got to spend your money.
One.
That's where you got to spend your money. All right, so some options that we have at our disposal, and let me know if y'all are thinking of any others as well. For big money options, we have David Edwards.
Sure. Buffalo
out
Bills.
of Buffalo. I think that's the big one. Buffalo Edwards.
Yeah.
Buffalo Edwards.
Buffalo Edwards.
Buffalo Bills. David Edwards. And then that's the biggest money guy. You also have like Tyler Linderbaum from Baltimore, if you want to go that route.
Ed Ingram from Houston.
Ed Ingram from Houston. This has Mekhi Becton at $14 million.
I don't know about that.
No.
No.
Don't know about that one.
No.
Zion Johnson.
Uh-huh.
Joel Bitonio. Are any of these options sounding good to y'all?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think David.
The answer is all of those options sound great.
So
there are a couple of other guys. Brock Hoffman is getting out of Dallas somehow. He could be a good one. He also challenged Logan Paul to that fight.
When
Logan Paul was like, when Logan Paul was like, oh, I'll fight any NFL player right now, blah, blah, blah. Brock Hoffman was one of the people in his DMs, like, let's do it. So I love that.
I don't think that he's realizing how crazy and lower end NFL players are. Like
I know.
Like, there are people
no
that
idea.
will do this, and there will be people that will kick your bleep.
100%. Isaac Seumalo is another really interesting one.
Wyatt
out of Pittsburgh. Wyatt Teller.
Dalton Reisner.
No, he went back.
Oh no, he bet. He
went back. But if I'm going big, I'm going David Edwards.
Yeah, at that position, that feels like the big splash of them all. The other ones are some solid players, but if we're talking splashes, we're talking big buck hunting. That's what I think David Edwards is the obvious one.
Yeah. Him or Ingram.
So that I prefer I go Edwards over Ingram.
Let's do it
personally.
Sounds
all
good.
right. So then that takes care of the big money, David Edwards. We signed David Edwards. We have a guard. We have a big.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Everybody's going to be going to check the chat. Everybody's probably screaming that we did it. Either sign David Edwards or now happy that David Edwards is here.
Now,
all right.
If you miss on Edwards, are we? All right. Let me just for clarity. Are we going through each tier and addressing like what we would do at each position? Or are we just saying
we're gonna add three free? We had one big money free agent to add, and that was David Edwards.
Okay.
All right. So now we have a guard. Where do y'all want to start looking for our mid-level signing?
This to me is
a guy that's like not
wide
a
receiver,
splash, but could contribute.
Yeah, this is either wide receiver, running back, or linebacker for me.
I'll throw one more in there. I like Isaiah Likely. I know it's not one of the positions, but I do, as far as player aspect, I think Isaiah Likely would be a really good pickup, and I think he'd probably fall in this range. But on top of the linebacker, running back, wide receiver, I think those are positions where maybe I'm looking at multiple players, but if I'm looking at an individual player, it'd be Isaiah Likely.
I dig that. That helps you out from a pass catcher perspective, no matter what.
And then the running game aspect as well. So I think the dual ability of that, of him as a run blocker, him as a pass catcher, and being able to have both of those. And we see so many teams operate with two tight end formations often. You know, it's kind of the trend, right? And it doesn't mean you have to buck the trend, but it's like, hey, that's the trend. And there's a reason it's working. And I don't know if defenses have completely caught up yet. They're going to soon, I can assume. But I think that this is a very beneficial move.
Yeah.
All right. Let's look at some options. We have Isaiah Likely, which I do like. I do like that option. But Isaiah Likely, we have Dallas Goedert, Yami Brown, Tutu Atwell.
I forgot about that.
Bobby Okereke for a linebacker option.
Yeah.
Logan Wilson, Cowboys. I don't dislike Logan Wilson. He's a little too
I
samey.
Yeah, but I did like him a lot during the draft.
Levante, how funny would it be if this ain't Levante David?
What if they get Levante David and then not in this simulation, but then Cam goes to Tampa? I think the only reason why, by the way, I think the only reason why Cam is actually testing the market is so that if Jason Light calls, he can hang up. And then,
a linebacker.
I think it's just a joke.
I'll say this: the linebacker I like, which is probably more in the mid-money tier than lower money, is Quincy Williams of the Jets.
Yeah, I like him a lot too.
Very, very productive player.
Yeah,
and best linebackers Saints had over this century.
They all came from New York. All came over for the Jets.
So he might be on to something.
I think Quay Walker factors into like upper level financial signing, right? He would be a high level financial signing. So yeah, Quincy Williams would be good. I would because I think Likely's market value is set somewhere around like $8.8 million per, something like that. Because like 10 million per year is kind of a high level tight end contract. And so I think we could get away with Quincy Williams or somebody mid-level, and then also Isaiah Likely, because I love that.
But I do want to know why Dylan just randomly said, "Ooh."
Yeah, me too.
Now I'm interested.
Ross was gonna hear the name and is gonna know why I went ooh. Devin Lloyd.
Oh,
Devin Lloyd.
I knew it.
Devin Lloyd.
I knew it. Dylan's rubbing his hands like Birdman. He loves him some Devin Lloyd. He loved Devin Lloyd about as much as he loved Willie Gay.
The Willie Gay.
You saw how that worked out?
Yeah.
You know what?
But I do like Devin Lloyd a lot.
I'll tell you what linebacker interests me, and I don't know where the price range is. Ross is so much better with this. When it comes to money, I just defer to Ross, right? But I really like Caden Ellis. I like the versatility that Caden Ellis can provide to you. I like him as an off-ball guy. I like him as a pass rusher. I think he is such a versatile asset. And I thought they should have kept him back then. It's always interesting when you lose a player and you kind of treat him as a flash in the pan. I think they did this with Trey Hendrickson as well. But then they also had, Davenport, who they liked. And it's like, oh, okay, it happened once. I don't know if it's going to continue. Well, Caden Ellis has gone to Atlanta. He's continued all of that. He's still a really strong pass rusher. He's racking up over 100 tackles every year, right? I think that he's a little bit older. So if you're trying to get in the youth movement, it wouldn't check that box. But if you're just saying we want to get a guy here for the moment, I like Caden Ellis and what he could bring to a defense from multiple avenues.
Well, he's right around $9 million probably is his market value at linebacker. Not bad.
But can I say what I do think is my favorite move at the mid-money level that we've said so far, what I think would be the biggest impact on winning and versus what's available in the draft?
What's that?
Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, I think so too. And that is like on the lower end of medium finational.
That could save contract. Up. You could maybe make two mid levels.
Let's do two. Let's do two.
You want to do two mid? You want to save on Isaiah Likely and then do two mid levels instead of a
I'd love that because my vote then would be Isaiah Likely and then one of those linebackers, Quincy Williams, Caden Ellis, or Quay Walker, any of those guys, because they're probably going to hover around 10-ish per year, maybe a little bit above that, right? I'm saying hover around, meaning anywhere between like 5 million in either direction, but or 5 million berth in either direction, so 2.5 in either direction. And so I think you could get away with both of those. And then I would propose a low-level running back signing to add.
Put a name on it. Who you thinking? Who?
It's got to be Kenneth Gainwell, right? Like, if you're looking for somebody that would be like lower. When I say low level, I just mean value, right? In terms of contract value, Kenneth Gainwell would be the easy one. He has the connection to Kellen Moore, performed well in his offense behind Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Where in this totem pole of value do you place Rico Dowdle?
I think he's probably mid-level. 7?
You think? Because Javonte Williams got 8.
Yeah.
so interesting.
I can make the argument for Dowdle to be considered like that too, but I mean, like if you can get Dowdle for like 6 and get him on a 2-year deal instead of a 1-year deal.
All right.
You have Gainwell in the experience. So what are we thinking? Dowdle and his I really want the ball because he really wants the ball. Don't forget about that. He's leaving because they
Right. Good point. Good point. Good point.
Right? So there is that.
Good point.
Versus Gainwell, who probably isn't so aggressive with give me the ball, but he has the familiarity with Kellen Moore. And he doesn't check a box of you're gonna lead your run game, right? I don't think you see him getting the most carries on the team. And I think that everybody's favorite pick at 8 is still available. So what do you guys? I think that's the pro and con for each guy.
Let me throw out this. Let me throw out this. David Edwards, Isaiah Likely, Devin Lloyd, Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah,
or
I like that.
Dowdle.
But I think Darian's point. I think Darian's point about Dowdle being frustrated in his previous stop because he wasn't getting the ball enough, and then coming to a committee crowded room. I think Gainwell makes a lot of sense. That's a really good call out, Darian. Just because you don't want to put him back in that situation. Like, it's not even like, locker room problem, blah, blah, blah. But, like, why put him back in that situation again? You know what I mean? It's
why would he stop there?
Right.
Especially when you get to segment 3 or pick 8 and say Jeremiah Love. Like, it's like, then he's probably just want to go the AP route.
Let's do Kenneth Gainwell and get to this draft, baby.
Well, I love it. Let's do it.
Okay, we went Devin Lloyd as our linebacker.
I would love that.
Let's do it. You're auditioning for GM. So
nobody talks about Devin Lloyd, so let's say Devin Lloyd. I love it.
Hey! All right. I get something goes my way. All right, let's get to this.
We all got our guy.
We'll go with this. We did. I like that. All right. Indeed, we did.
This better be
workplace chaos, deadline stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill is still open. What if we've ever been there. Talk about running back. All right. Indeed, sponsored jobs help you reach the people who actually fit with what you're looking for. Skills, leadership, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help your search when you go to Indeed.com/podcast. Go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this, you guessed it, podcast. All right, let's get to this draft, and in pure how it's going to be fashion, we went with our signings. We brought in David Edwards, Isaiah Likely, Devin Lloyd, Kenneth Gainwell, and that is setting us up. We don't know what this draft is going to be.
Right.
So let us see what draft class we're working with.
I love this. This is great.
All right. Pick 1-1-1, Fernando Mendoza.
No shock.
2-2.
I'm really hoping to get that guy.
Arvel Reese.
All right.
I was actually hoping to get that guy. Okay.
Pick 3, Jeremiah Love.
All right.
He's off the board. That's why we went Kenneth Gainwell.
This is good. This is good. Yep.
4, David Bailey.
Okay.
5, this is the one I really wanted, Sonny Styles.
Yeah, I knew you were. I knew you
Off
were.
the
That's
board.
all right. You got Devin Lloyd.
6, the Browns go Reuben Bain Jr.
Okay.
And then 7,
Need one.
Come on.
wild card. The Washington Commanders go with safety, Dylan
Excellent.
Thieneman.
Dylan Thieneman's baby. Oh, wow. Whoa.
Oh.
Chill.
Oh. The Commanders go with Dylan Thieneman. They loved his combine.
Clearly.
Can I say I don't think that is out of the realm of possibility. I think NFL teams are stupid enough to do that.
Yeah. The best safety falls. The best safety falls way lower than he should every year. Malachi Starks last year, Kyle Hamilton years ago. Like, it happens all the time.
People
He doesn't fall
overthink
past 8.
safety.
I'll tell you that. Tell you that right now.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, guys.
Although I will say, like, Fittiman also really, really good.
Yes,
like, I'm not
yes,
trying to diminish him at all.
As long as you like don't need him to like make an open space tackle.
Right. Right.
Which do safeties need to do that very often? I don't know.
No, that never happens. That never happens.
Anyway, I think the pick at 8 is super obvious here.
Yeah, I do like 2 guys here though, but I love the 2 guys that are here. So obviously, I think we're all on board with Caleb Downs here, right? Like that's what we're all going here. Mm-hmm. Yes, there's a report out there about
there's gonna be a Hall of Fame graphic in 10 years. Dylan Fittiman going up right above Caleb Downs.
Yeah. Yes, there is a report out there about Caleb Downs deal and some medical check and stuff like that during the combine. There are also reports that conflict that. Welcome to the NFL draft. This is how this goes. So we're not going to worry about that.
End up with Kyle Hamilton.
That's right.
And stuff like that. Like, this is how the Cardinals got Will Johnson so late last year.
Right. Right. So we're not going to. Right. And so we're not going to worry about that. We're going to assume all's good there, or all's good enough to still be a top 10 pick. The other player that I would throw in here, though, is Carnell Tate. But the wide receiver class is so deep that you can make the argument that second or third round, you can still get a really good wide receiver. Safety / and really what I would want to use Caleb Downs for if I'm Brandon Staley is the star position, right? Alontae Taylor's position. There's maybe 1 or 2 other guys in this draft class that could pull it off. So I would be more apt to say Caleb Downs in this scenario.
Absolutely.
And let me say, you can never bank on this, but I have my eyes on a second round wide receiver right now, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know if I have my eyes on the second round guy who I'm going to feel as good about as I do Caleb Downs. This one, I'm running faster than Dylan did on a 40-yard dash. Not you, Dylan, the other Dylan. I don't know if your 40-yard dash.
We didn't release those yet. I ran a 4-1.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't. all I know is they should be lucky that you weren't there. Okay,
that's it. That's
all I'm saying.
That's it.
All
right, dope.
That was Rich Eisen to a racing, got denied out of fear.
Out of fear.
All right, so we're going Caleb Downs round 1, and I think this is already the best offseason the Saints could ask for. At 42, what position? My mind goes wide receiver here, but
I like
there's
wide
also
receiver here.
Some running backs.
We got to find out
Washington and Jadarian Price are on the board.
Okay, we got to find out who Darian's second round wide receiver was.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bury the lead. Is Chris Bell on the still available?
Okay. Now
Chris Bell is still available.
Now we should say Chris Bell, of course, coming off an ACL tear. His timeline that was given by his doctor is to be ready for training camp. I think if he's ready for the 5th week of the season, you win in that scenario. Here's the way that I like to describe it, guys. When you're making gumbo, when do you add your shrimp?
At the end.
At the end. Right. And so my favorite part about the idea of getting a Chris Bell is that you build the gumbo and then you add the shrimp. You add the Chris Bell when he's ready to go. I love it. I'm all about it. We did not take another wide receiver in free agency in terms of a big, medium, or lower level financial signing. So that's worth mentioning because what we didn't take into account was like veteran minimums because they got to fill out a 90-man roster. There could still be other players that end up getting added. So if we feel comfortable with that, I like Chris Bell here. I also really like Jadarian Price, excuse me.
Yes. I'm sorry for working backwards, but this is something I forgot to mention when we were earlier. And I kind of talked about it a little bit with the idea of an Olave extension and knowing you're going to invest X amount of dollars into him. What would be your ceiling on how much you would invest in the wide receiver position? Because I know a lot of times people feel like, I don't want to pay two wide receivers this much. Or is that thought process even a myth? I told you guys earlier, I do defer to Ross when it comes to money and these things. So, just talk to me on that aspect.
It would depend on what the cap hit is for 2026 and how the contract is structured. And then if you want to go with a short-term addition or if you want to go with a long-term addition. So like if you extend Chris Olave, you're probably not signing Alec Pierce, right? The wide receiver out of Indianapolis. But you could potentially sign a Calvin Austin, maybe a Juwan Jennings, something like that, right? I mean, although Juwan Jennings might get paid this offseason, who knows? And so there's like some of those, but I would probably cap spending at wide receiver off, depending upon what the cap hit is for Chris Olave, at like a few $1 million. Like, I'm not trying to give up a massive contract. Like, I'm not going above 10. I'm not going into double digits there.
Okay.
And so I think you can pick up additional players to help you out with depth, but then you add Chris Bell, you go into the season with Chris Olave and Devon Vele as your top 2 guys, and then get Chris Bell back when you get Chris Bell back, and then move after that. I'm not. And then we also added Isaiah Likely, who would be able to still help out even in those 11 personnel sets to give you another pass catcher. So
yeah. And Jalen Polk.
You got Jalen Polk and Trey Palmer and, you know, all these other guys that could potentially be around.
We cannot hear you.
Have not heard you for some time.
I thought you were doing the whole not speaking.
I thought you were just doing a bit. I thought you were doing a bit.
No, don't be stupid.
I was like, dang, Dylan's really sold on this.
just stupid. I just can't talk. All right. I'm down for Chris Bell. Now that I'm back.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
By the way, I didn't even mute my mic. I have no idea how that happened.
That's all right.
That's what he was saying the whole time. Yeah, I likeRis Bell.
He was just like, you guys want to do Chris Bell? You guys want to do Chris Bell?
I kind of was. I was just like, all right, just don't listen to me, I guess. All right? I don't want to intrude. All right. So the person I was eyeing in round 3 went at it was a nice selection. He went at 69 overall to the Houston Texans. Mike Washington,
yeah.
So we have so far Caleb Downs and Chris Bell.
Awesome. Okay. Really good.
Lovely.
Where do we go? And now I think we could go a couple of different places. There's Kyle Lewis, the Pittsburgh linebacker, who I don't dislike.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Hill Jr. There is, if maybe we double up, Elijah Surratt's still around.
Yeah. Who are the top edge rushers that are available here?
Yeah.
Let's take a look. See.
Although I gotta say, Anthony Hill in the 3rd round is insane.
Romello Heights.
Yeah.
It's
Kieran Crawford, Nadame Tucker, LT Overton, Anthony Lucas, Mikael Camaro.
No Malachi Lawrence?
No Malachi Lawrence.
Womp womp. He's probably a second round pick now. I like Romello Heights, but yeah.
You were talking about Anthony Hill. I love Anthony Hill here. I just like in under
Malachi Lawrence went to the Panthers.
Of course. Of course. There's always the ones you like that go to the division. You get Devin Lloyd. How do you feel about getting Anthony Hill? I love the value here, and I might just say screw it. Like, I think the Saints
are in a position to where if you can find a good player at a position of need of value, I think you say yes, no matter what.
Yeah.
Even if you just signed a Devin Lloyd, it's not a huge deal that you just signed him to. Probably, it'll last you, but let Anthony Hill then, develop and grow kind of. And then if you, what I like about Anthony Hill is in 2 years, you have a Danny Stutzman, Anthony Hill linebacker room, and your linebacker room for the next 8 years after that, because that's all you need. So
I like it. And he can rush the passer too. So I'm all about that.
And that's really important with Devin, with Demario Davis leaving.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
let's go.
I
Anthony
really
Hill
want to get an edge rusher, but I love Anthony Hill.
I know. I want an edge rusher too, but I'm crossing my fingers for the 4th round here.
In 4th round, the best pass rusher available: Nadame Tucker, Max Llewellyn. Let's go to Nadame Tucker.
Stop the count. It's Nadame Tucker. Let's do it.
Ross and I had the same reaction. Like, oh, really? He's still
and then we have another 4th round pick and a couple picks here.
So. Ooh. And then my guy, number around 4, pick 137. I like him a lot. Nicholas Singleton is still around.
I love it. Have we gotten any update on his foot?
Katron Allen is also still around, actually. So I like both. I like both the Let me see Nick Singleton.
So.
I would say like if the foot's Gucci, then Nicholas Singleton all day. If the foot's still a concern, Katron Allen. I don't think you can go wrong with either one of those guys.
Haven't heard anything on his foot.
Let's assume no news is bad news when it comes to an injury, right? And then so why don't we go Katron Allen? But I'm with you, Dylan, on Nicholas Singleton. If they find that the foot's all good, then Nicholas Singleton's like easily the pick.
He should. Singleton expects to be out of the boot next week and should be ready to work out for NFL teams a week before the draft. That is shout out to Johnny McGonigal.
Shout out, Mr. McGonigal. I love it.
Mr. McGonigal.
That's a solid Harry Potter joke right there.
Yeah, I like Nick. I like Nick Singleton. Just to put it out there, because I am actually seeing a lot of names at running back. Damon Claiborne, talk about game-changing speed.
And great name for the city.
Allen, great name for the city. Demario Taylor, Le'Veon Moss, Jaden Ott, Katron Allen, Desmond Reed. I think all great names. I still lean Nick Singleton.
It's fine for me.
Fair. That's fair. What did we get?
Exit. An A.
An A.
Right.
I think we get an A. Right.
I would get. If I remember who we got. I mean, yeah. What did we get? Downs.
All right.
Can you read off the picks? My memory is terrible.
Caleb Downs, Chris Bell, the name Anthony Hill,
there we go.
Nadabe Tucker, and Nick Singleton.
Love it.
Love it. All right. Let that sink in, and we can come back, take a look at how our offseason looks when we get back.
Hey, it's Matt Derry from the Locked On Lions podcast. The people I love depend on me. If I'm gone, the financial responsibilities don't disappear. I didn't want my family figuring things out during the hardest moment of their lives. That's why I knew only one place to go. I chose life insurance through my friends at Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy, 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. I love the folks at Ethos. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get the free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. That is ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. Ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. Application times and rates may vary.
All righty. Well, we're back. Let's go through our Saints offseason. Cam Jordan, Foster Moreau, Terrell. Well, now we're here. We had Kalen Bounds. We could go back to this. We had Terrell Burgess / Ugo Amadi. How do y'all feel now that we have? Because I think bringing Caleb Downs makes me lean towards Terrell Burgess.
I'd still bring both back.
You still think you'd bring both?
Yeah, these are vet minimum deals. No disrespect to those guys, but like these are vet minimum deals. Valuable depth players. You need 90. You need a roster of 90 going into camp.
Okay. I'm fine with that too.
Yeah.
Dylan Radins, John Bullard, Chris Rumpf, and Jonah Williams. Those are our re-signed players. We brought them back. Free agents. We got David Edwards, Isaiah Likely, Devin Lloyd, and Kenneth Gainwell.
Love it. Plus a bunch of veteran whatevers to fill out the 90.
Those are the notables.
Yeah.
Then, with our first 4 rounds of the mock drafts, we went Caleb Downs, Chris Bell, Anthony Hill, Nadabe Tucker, and Nick Singleton. I
gotta love it.
Whew, I think,
and there's still 2 fifth-round picks and a 6th-round pick that you could add, plus undrafted free agency. Like, yeah.
I think this
is unturning here.
Interior defensive line in terms of injection of new talent, maybe. But you could probably find that 5th, 6th round. Like that could be one of those. That could be some of the veteran signings, like lower level veteran signings too, and everything. So it's unturned in that we didn't add like a notable signing there, but still possible to have addressed it.
Yeah, like you look at this draft.
Oh, you know who we didn't do and what we need to add into the vet minimums?
Who?
Punter. Anyone.
Yes.
Oh yeah, punter.
Add a punter.
Punter.
Yeah, that's the tone. That's the stone that's unturned.
That's the one.
But in Saints fashion, it'll probably be some UDFA.
Yeah, it might be undrafted free agent. You're right. You're right.
We'll say, you know what? We're gonna bring him back. I don't forgot his name. That's terrible. I want to call him Lou Hadley so bad. Like Kai
Kroger.
Kroger, thank you. Listen, it's so every year is a new guy. Okay.
Like, no, it's been
call him Hayball. But just moving forward, we're gonna bring back Kroger. And we're gonna bring this other guy in, and we're gonna let you two compete UDFAs, and like it's a repeated cycle that I think hasn't worked. So Ross is right. Please bring that into some sort of veteran minimum.
Yeah.
But gosh, what I love about this is you got two weapons, and you got three weapons. At running back, you got one, you got a tight end, and you got a wide receiver. So you got a mixture of these aspects, and you checked off boxes that you need. You want a guy like Likely who's going to come in and he's going to catch the ball, but he's also a really good run blocker. You got a guy in David Edwards who's also going to help with your run blocking. So you feel like you can be able to run the ball more. And maybe that makes me, that makes me feel more comfortable with the guys who are there. I like Devin Neal. When healthy, I really like Kendre Miller. But what I don't like is how much they have to do behind the line of scrimmage. So getting those guys makes me feel pleasant in the run game. Then you got a guy in Chris Bell who runs after the catch really well. You got a guy in Likely who is once again a pass threat. You got these weapons who check all of the boxes that it feels like you need as you begin your rebuild. It ain't going to turn around in 1 year, right? Like the chances of them being the New England Patriots are just unlikely. Hopefully it happens, but it's just unlikely that you turn around that quickly. Yeah. But I think they have the start of a really, really strong rebuild in year two. I wouldn't even say the start. I think last year was the start.
Yeah. And you got a guy that's going to get the football back to your offense in Caleb Downs, who's going to be disruptive as all heck. And that's going to, make an impact in that way, especially in a Brandon Staley scheme. Like he's one of the two players that fits most perfectly in this scheme, along with Arvell Reese, a guy I know you were targeting going into this one. I'm not mad at this at all. And this a lot of it feels realistic. I wonder if we overspent in free agency, but who cares for the sake of like an exercise here. If this were, or some slightly altered version of this were the Saints offseason, I would call that a successful offseason.
Just for fun, I went back and added 3 more draft picks. I just did a quick look-see just to see what a full draft could look like with what we had left available. And just so y'all can give me what you think of this. I went Texas Tech defensive interior Skylar Gill-Howard.
Great.
First 5th round pick.
Yep.
Jeff Caldwell with the 2nd 5th round pick.
Okay.
Just doubling up on our receiver, 6'5".
Yep.
And then Kobe Baines, Kansas guard in the 6th round.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah.
The names aren't as important there because you could also go Aaron Anderson, a wide receiver, get a little slot receiver, whichever you prefer. You could get a different interior offensive lineman. You could get there are talents available at other spots. Where you feel like it, and do not draft a punter.
Nope, none of that.
My favorite pick here is probably Anthony Hill, just because I didn't think he would drop to the 3rd. I don't think he drops to the 3rd. If he does,
that's prospect fatigue right there.
Like, I think this is such a talented guy where, let's say you weren't able to get Devin Lloyd, I'd probably still be extremely excited to get Anthony Hill in the 3rd. That's how much I like Hill. I think he's a really talented player. And if you're able to get him, I would consider him early. I genuinely would. If Demario leaves, I think that becomes a heightened position, whether you fill it with the Devin Lloyd, whether you fill it with a Sonny Styles, fill it with an Anthony Hill. It just becomes a heightened need to me. So getting Hill and Lloyd in the same offseason, thumbs up. Like
I looked at Anthony Hill's college production. 249 tackles, 31 TFLs, 17 sacks, 3 interceptions.
And that was just 2025. No, I'm kidding.
8 forced fumbles as well. So 11 forced turnovers.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Solid. Very
I'll take
solid
that in the
player.
third round.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where did Jacob
What
Rodriguez go?
Oh yeah. And what becomes now the most competitive position for the team? I mean, safety's busy, but a lot of that is also filling special teams in your practice squad and everything like that. But it feels like all of a sudden maybe linebacker just became a super competitive room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Devin Lloyd, Danny Stutzman, Pete Werner, Anthony Hill, Isaiah Stallbird, like
Jacob
Jalen
Rodriguez went 2 picks after Chris Bell. So 44th to the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think his combine's going to help him a lot.
So there's a world in which we would have gone Caleb Downs, Jacob Rodriguez, Elijah Surratt, and it still ended up in a good spot.
Yeah, I'd say if we didn't get Devin Lloyd, I probably would have been looking closer at Jacob Rodriguez in round 2.
Yeah.
But there, Devin Lloyd, you at least have someone that is a proven starter for this year.
Facts.
And to your question, I think it is between linebacker and safety because you have the Blackman, Sanker, Downs. Well, Downs is good, but just in general, you have those 3 as players. I already think Blackman versus Sanker is going to be interesting, but if you don't get Downs, maybe you just say 1 play star, 1 play deep safety. It's fine. But you get Downs, it's like, all right, the guy you've been waiting on your entire life, your entire coaching career, Brandon Staley, he's here for you, right? And now he's back. But then you have this young guy who played really well and I think earned himself some time. So I think linebacker and safety are the 2 most competitive positions on this team in this hypothetical.
Yeah. I think wide receiver can be too, depending on how Jalen Polk works out, depending on how Trey Palmer works out, all that. Like it could be interesting. You know who's at the top of the room, but filling out the rest of the active roster becomes pretty interesting.
I agree. Oof.
Overall,
A.
I give this offseason an A. A+. Why not? Hey, we're grading ourselves. A+, baby. We did a great job. Pat ourselves in the back.
Anything less than an A gets you blocked. Just want to put that out.
Oh yeah, give us your grades. You got to give us your grades.
Yeah, you're not allowed to watch anymore.
Let us know your grades. Give us your grades in the offseason. And I am. Well, you know what? Honestly, I'm just way more excited about this offseason. But
Me too.
I'd say Ross has to go.
I'll see y'all soon.
See you, Ross.
y'all.
Let's see. All right, now let's everything he did was terrible. It was horrible.
Okay, I hate the David Edwards pick. I hate the no.
Like, why is he doing? Why did he make us pick that?
Is there anything based off the draft and what we learned in the draft that you wish we would have done differently before? Because I think it worked out. I think we're seeing there are just a bunch of different ways to attack this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Just depends on what players they like at what spots. But there's paths available. There are multiple interesting options at every level of that you're looking at, which is really interesting.
I think with the Devin Lloyd aspect, we checked a lot of things because you can't get everything. Like you reasonably can't get everything. But what you did do is you got one of the 3. You filled one of the 3 biggest holes on your team from departing free agency, right? By getting Lloyd and replacing Demario with Lloyd. You were able to keep Cam. And you got Nadame Tucker, so it feels like that's solid. The only thing I could say is I probably would want an edge rusher earlier, but getting Nadame when you got him is a steal. It feels kind of Devin Neal-esque, where you didn't expect him to still be there, but he's present on the board. And it's like, okay, I didn't need this guy so early because I got him. And I don't know if I would say I don't want to get Chris Bell. I don't want to get Anthony Hill because I just want to get whoever the best pass rusher is. So you can't get everything, but I think I like what we got.
Yeah, you definitely can't get everything, but you can get pretty dang close to it. You can get what we're learning is, man, I really hope that Caleb Downs falls. That would be incredible. Mm-hmm. And I think we saw enough. I think they're both going to be really good players for a long time. I would pick Downs. I'm just such a fan of a versatile safety. I don't know.
Mhm.
I've always been that way. My favorite, a top 5 player, and I forget what year it was, but Javon Holland was like a top 5 player for me coming out of college, and this is very similar to that. Interesting. If we didn't get Caleb Downs, I saw Bud Clark in the 3rd round would have been a fun option too.
But Bud is probably my secondary guy, right? Like if I'm talking targets, and I know about what range I can get him in, 3 to 4. I could probably get him in that range. I think Bud Clark is going to be really good, and there's no TCU bias in that. I think he's just too talented to not work.
I think Downs not doing the 40 and all that really saved the Saints, because then you had guys like Jeremiah Love, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, and David Bailey all go out and put up massive performances at the combine, and that just drops, that drops Caleb Downs. Obviously, if a team loves Caleb Downs, they're going to take him, but then that means one of those guys is going to be available. There's no way that I'm seeing that at least I'll say this, the options at 8 aren't going to be awesome. We know the Saints can do crazy things, but they shouldn't be able to mess this one up.
Let me say this, and then we're going to go. I know.
Yeah.
If an offensive tackle can go, because in this hypothetical, it didn't happen, right? Like it was Fernando, Mendoza, and then all defensive players. But if an offensive tackle can go, I think that's going to be key, right? Like just replace Cinnamon with a
Francis
or
Francis or Fano, yeah.
So if that can happen, because I think you need to have someone get pushed down. Otherwise, Downs could reasonably go, and then it's like, dang, there was no offensive tackles. All of the premier defensive players and Jeremiah Love are off the board. So you really want an offensive tackle to go, and then you feel like you'd be good. Fernando's going, offensive tackle going, and you are going to get one of the premier defenders or Jeremiah Love at 8.
I like that. All right. Well, cool deal. I think we did it. And we have yes. And then so we'll be right back here on Monday to talk about early tampering period, more free agency stuff. But this is what we would do from here on until the draft if we were the GMs of the New Orleans Saints. So keep that in mind whenever they put a fan voting for the next GM, and pick us because we're going to do good.
There you go.
Thank you for listening to the Saints Squad Show. You can check out me, Ross, Darian, John, and Lance on our socials for the latest. We'll be right back here on Monday to talk more football. Until then, check out Ross for all of your up-to-date Saints needs. And we'll see y'all in just a few days. Peace.